wrestling fans, and more importantly, bullpen professional wrestling fans. Joining me at this time is a face you may not have seen yet, but you're going to see him in a few weeks. He is the Frat Daddy, Bryce Cannon. How are you, bud?
Doing well. And if the people watching this have not seen me, then obviously they have lack of internet service or just follow the wrong people on social media because, quite frankly, I mean, I'm everywhere. So,
It's very true. It's very true. I was going to say they must not have the internet because you are absolutely everywhere, not just in the state of Georgia. You are all over the Southeast and other places as well.
yeah, stay busy. And I mean, I'm one of the humble people in this business. I won't gloat too much on this unless you want me to.
And think about how humble he's being. He didn't even fix his hair for this one.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I didn't want to
We're just
steal the show completely.
yeah, we're just two dudes chilling out talking wrestling.
That's right. Look, you got to pay premium money to get the tip up, okay?
But just the tip.
And don't touch it.
Never touch the tip. But let's start right there. Kind of borrow this question I heard the other day. But at what point did the wrestling bug kind of bite you, or at some point, when did you get hooked on wrestling, and then when did you decide this is what I want to do?
Yeah, so wrestling has been one of those things it's always been in my life. I actually was telling somebody this the other day. It's like my football or baseball for other people. Like you hear people talk football all the time. I could talk wrestling all the time. But I mean, it goes back as far as I can remember. I mean, I remember being in the living room. I had my action figures and wrestling ring set up, full entrance set up on the coffee table, and I had a recycling bin full of just action figures, which I still have to this day. Um, and then, I mean, we would get the neighborhood kids. We would wrestle on the trampoline. I mean, my first wrestling injury occurred in third grade. I mean, I got hit in the eye with a chair and had to get 7 stitches.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it's just always been there. Like I can't pinpoint a certain age or a certain time to where I was just like, what's this? It's just always been there. I mean, my granddad and my dad would take me to the Macon Coliseum and we would watch like the WWE live events and things like that. And so like I said, I mean, it's just always been there, but and I always watched it as a fan, and then just one day it clicked to where I was kind of like, there's more to this than just the wrestling. Like I started kind of watching certain movements and things like that. And then there was a local promotion called AWN in Fort Valley, Georgia. And we would go there as a kid. And when I graduated high school, they had opened it back up because it was one of those promotions that it'd be open and then it'd shut down and then it'd be open and then shut down. And well, they just happened to start running again. And I went to a show with one of my buddies and we sat front row, and I saw a guy that I went to high school with in the ring, and I was like, I actually know that guy, and like he wasn't no bigger than I was, and so I messaged him after the show, and I was like, hey, like silly question, but how did you get into this? Like, how can I get into this? And he said, meet me up here next Saturday. So that's what I did. Met him up there, took my first bump, and didn't look back.
I got to admit, the few that I got to take back when I used to help put rings up a lot longer ago than I care to admit. But yeah, you take those first bumps, and man, it's real hard not to like it.
Yeah, and it was one of those things where the ring that I bumped in was an old boxing ring, so it wasn't
Mm.
even an actual like wrestling ring. So the ring that I trained in, it was like an old wooden just boxing ring, so it was super stiff. And then you get good rings, you get bad rings, but that one was very stiff. So everything else was just like, I'm not going to say pillows, but it was more comfortable than what I trained on. um but yeah, from the first bump, I knew that I was hooked. There was nothing else for me to do from there.
I'm going to get into some fan questions as we get going through these. One of them, Matt wants to know which wrestler did you idolize growing up? Was there somebody you just gravitated to, or did you just kind of like everybody?
Yeah, no, it was definitely one of those things where in most scenarios I went for the bad guys. Um, it was just something about just the underdog mentality of a bad guy because everybody else wanted to see the good guy win. Uh, Um, but no, I loved the Jeff Hardys and the Rey Mysterios, but my guy, growing up and still to this day, is the Miz. Like it was just
Mm.
the reality TV star, the cockiness, the preppiness, the just over the top, arrogant attitude. It was just I could relate to him, and so much so I was actually almost on the real world one time, but I didn't make it through one of the final stages of casting. But I made it to talk to producers, and then didn't make it to the next stage. But yeah, that's how so far I went to like be like the Miz. But yeah, he was my guy, and a lot of people know that.
Man, we share that in common, not just our affinity for certain hairstyles, but I guess we kind of get that from the Miz too, with the way he does it. I've always been a big Miz guy. I remember him on the Real World, which kind of tells you
Mhm.
how old I am. But it amazes me to see where TV has come to where uh, seeing a larger than life character like Mike Mizanin become the Miz, and yet producers can't put you on this show too, and you'd be the entire show. Maybe that's why they didn't want to do it. They wanted to feature the other five people in the house.
Yeah, I mean, there was one lady that was very high on me. Like she liked me, she liked my personality. But I couldn't be too over the top because at the time I still lived with my parents whenever I'd gotten the call. So I wasn't able to kind of like give them the full Bryce
Yeah,
Keenan experience. But I mean, I was happy with how far I got. I mean, no, I didn't get to be on camera, but it was still something cool and something I actually don't talk about a lot. Like a lot of people don't know that. This is an exclusive.
hey, that's an exclusive. You guys heard it here, and as a special bonus next episode, I'm going to find the producer that said no to Bryce Cannon, and I'm going to ask them that question.
Just
But
so you know, people, Bryce Keenan has been told no in his life. I didn't like it, but I've heard the word no.
at least once or twice, we've been told no. It happens, people.
Unfortunately.
But also, like they always say that some of the best people in wrestling is it's their personality turned up to 11. How much of you is the frat daddy turned up, and like where on that scale is it? Because I've actually found that a lot of people turned up to 11 is actually closer to their personality than the other side.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the mindset and the drive and everything, that's 100% me. Some of the things that Bryce Cannon says, I don't think I would say on a regular basis, but hey, like, yeah, I'm thinking it. Bryce Cannon just says what I actually think during the week. So, Bryce Cannon is definitely me turned up to 1,000 because it's what I'm truly thinking to most people, like especially if I'm playing the heel at somewhere and like there's just an annoying person, I'm gonna let them know, and I don't feel bad about it. Um, but but I mean, even being a face at places like it's a little harder for me, just because it's sometimes awkward with how you got to treat fans and things like that. But no, overall, I mean, it's me. It's a guy who shows the love for this business, the passion, and just that work ethic and true like hard work does pay off in this business. The business isn't going to give you what you put in, but you're definitely, if you work hard, you're going to get something out of it. And yeah, I mean, as far as like personality and everything, it's me. I mean, you can ask some of the guys after the shows. The frat daddy can can turn it up a notch too outside of the ring. So just ask a few of the boys.
I plan to, but at another time because I've always heard that when I ask around about you, knowing that you were going to be on the show, a lot of people said that they went, "Oh no, he definitely is the frat daddy, but in such a good way." And I only heard good things when I reached out. So either they're going to start invoicing you for all the nice things they said at
They've
some
already been
point.
paid. They've already been paid.
Okay. Okay, good. I was about to say we can start passing the hat here at the studio and try to help you out there. Or no,
They were paid
I
in
just
shots.
oh yep. That is good currency, especially down here in the South. But as I said, we're on with the frat daddy Bryce Cannon. I want to talk a little bit about your. For one, you got a really cool move set. I enjoy all the things you do. You don't just spot fest things. You actually do tell the story with it. But you've got the keg stand. You've got the spike seltzer and the twisted tea. Kind of did those come about naturally, or did you kind of develop those as you went?
Yeah. I mean, just in training, my trainer, Michael Stevens, marvelous Michael Stevens, he told us, come up with some moves and things like that. And the twisted tea and the keg stand are two of the moves that I've done since I started. Um, my respects and everything to the Miz. The keg stand is simply the Skull Crush finale. It's often said, when people kick out, it's the Skull Crush finale, but when I beat people, it's the keg stand. Um,
Absolutely.
but yeah, it's just one of those moves that nobody does it. No, nobody
No.
like for it to be such a popular move. Nobody does it. And to another exclusive here, it originally started out as the stroke, Jeff Jarrett's
Yep.
stroke,
Yep.
and then I was just like, that just doesn't feel natural to me. And so I started just doing the Skull Crush finale, and it just felt so much better to me. And I felt like every time that I hit it, it actually looked good because I'd watched the guy that I grew up watching do this move over and over. And so, it just came, like you said, it just came natural to me. The corkscrew neck breaker, I always like to flip and stuff on the trampoline and everything. And I just feel like it's one of those moves that I'm able to hit pretty good. So much so, I'll drop some behind the scenes footage or source here. Gabe Sapolsky once told me, he was like, "That should be your finishing move." He goes, "That's your best move by far that you do." Like it was just beautiful. Like he really put that move over. And I mean, I credit my opponents for taking it, but I've just been told it's like the way that I snap it and how quick I am with it. It just looks very unique and very clean. So that's one of my favorite moves. And then the spiked seltzer came from talking with Landon Hale. He had seen somebody do a similar flipping DDT, and he was describing it to me, and he goes, "Dude, like, you ought to do this move. I think like you would be able to do it. Like you're already doing like the flipping neck breaker. So, you can just incorporate it into like a DDT because everybody else does Canadian destroyers and things like that. And it's a similar bump, but it just looks different because it is." And so we were talking about it, and I was just like, yeah. I even think he was the one that mentioned like, yeah, you could call it like the spiked seltzer or something like that, or the hard seltzer. And I was like, no, no, what about the spiked seltzer? And so ever since then, I was doing it. I only pull it out when I can. You're not going to see it every move or every match, which is a lot of my moves. Because you know, I feel like if I go out there and do every move in my arsenal, what's there left for the fans to see me next time? I want them to pay money to come to the next show to see me. So when you see Bryce Kenny, you're going to see something different every time.
That's what I like is, everybody talks about the five moves to doom, the four moves, the six moves to whichever they talk about, depending on which wrestler they're talking about. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's, between the Hogans, the Bret Harts, the Cenas, that did help push them over because when you saw it, you knew the end was coming. You could kind of already start prepared for it. But yeah, I do notice that about your matches. Not every match, in fact, I would say no two matches are the same. It's like you go more by feel and the way things are going and it's because I'm going to segue a little bit that this name popped in my head, but you remind me of somebody you might have gotten to meet over the weekend because he made a surprise appearance in the main event of an event you happen to be at. And I think there's some similarities between you and AJ Styles a little bit. Not just the southernness and all that, but the innovativeness. And you do a move set that I don't see a lot of other people doing, and has been AJ his entire career.
Yeah, I mean AJ is definitely a lot more athletic than than I am. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to be your typical. He's going to do this. I've seen this setup before. He's going to go and do that. Like there are times where certain scenarios will call for a similar setup as another match, but I like going off of my opponent as well. I will credit myself there. I'm very adapt. I'm like very adaptable to certain situations. And so, like, if my opponent is a high flyer, I can adapt to his style and change my arsenal up. If they're more of a grappler or a brawler, I can work with that as well. If they're a big man, I mean, I just worked, by God, in the same weekend, Judas and Lamar Diggs, and they were two separate matches, two big men, but two separate matches. And it just it makes me feel good because I'm like, okay, like I'm decent at what I do. But yeah, it just some things just come natural to me, but I appreciate that comparison. But yeah, I will give AJ the definite edge over me with the athleticism and everything like that.
Absolutely. And I mean, always, at least on this show, I've met AJ once way back in the day, but AJ is always a 10 out of 10 as far as I'm concerned. Let me get back to a fan question. This fan says, over the summer, you wrestled Matt Hardy, and I'm going to put in another word there. You wrestled broken Matt Hardy. What was it like stepping into the ring with the broken one?
Yeah, so that one was super cool because not only was I in the ring with Matt Hardy, I was in the ring with QT Marshall as well. It was a
Mm-hmm.
triple threat for the Lariato Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Championship. Um, and that's a promotion that I give a lot of credit in helping build Bryce Cannon to the performer he is today. But yeah, I mean, just being in the ring with those two, but more importantly, Matt, um, I got to witness what it's like working with a real star. And I've wrestled several names. I mean, I've wrestled the Matt Cardonas, I've wrestled Matt Hardy QT. It's just a different ball game with each guy. Matt was very cool, as in, a lot of the match was called. I'm not sure how much of the curtain pulling back we're doing here. Um, but the triple threat match, I will go ahead and tell you, was challenging for me because we didn't call a lot of stuff. That the whole match was damn near called on the fly. The whole thing. It's available on Triller now under the Lariato banner. You can see that. But yeah, it's one of those things that it was a learning thing, but also like a humbling thing because I got to truly kind of push myself and test myself.
Well, it seems like every interview, I take it to some sort of emotional level, and I'm going to try to keep it as up and up as I can. But the next fan question I want to get to that I'm pretty sure I know the answer to. What is the worst injury you've seen or endured?
Okay, so I'll answer both of those. I'll start with the one that I've seen. So the worst injury that I've seen in person was probably 4 or 5 years ago. I may be wrong, but it was actually NWA's heavyweight or world's champion Silas Mason.
Hmm.
We were at a show in North Carolina, I believe, and he did a moonsault off the top rope and snapped his ankle or his leg, one of the two. And
Wow.
I mean, not to be too graphic, but his foot was facing the opposite. He was face down, but his foot was straight up in the air.
Mm.
It was very gruesome to see, and it was just heartbreaking to see. And now to see him like at the top of the game, I just saw him at
Yep.
NWA in Atlanta. I got the opportunity to work with them when they came to Atlanta, and it was just so cool to see him. And he's in phenomenal shape, and he's at the top of his game. Um, and then as far as the one that I've endured, I got a pretty bad paper cut yesterday. That one was pretty. No, I'm kidding. Um,
I'd say, is that worse than the injury I had to start this? I don't know
um,
where it is.
yeah, I think everybody already knows that the knee surgery, dislocating my patella was pretty rough. Just because it did take me out of action for a little over a year there. And it was a experience for me just because I mean I wasn't fully away from wrestling. I did some commentary work and
Yeah.
things like that for Coastal Empire Wrestling down in Savannah, Georgia. Um, but it gave me time to kind of reflect and see where I truly wanted to go. And it gave me time to, is this for me? Am I going to be missed? Do people remember what I did, or will they remember what I did? And quite honestly, it was my name was getting brought up every month in reports and things like that, and I wasn't even doing anything. So I was like, okay, there's some relevancy here, so I got to come back. But another one was just recent. I think about a month and a half
Mhm.
ago, I got pelted in the pelted in the face with a ladder. Uh, Broke my tooth, split my lip, had to get 4 stitches, and then they glued my jaw in a ladder match down in Florida. So I've had some gnarly injuries, but no, cool stories now with the scars and everything. I mean, my knees all scarred up from the surgery. So those are my two worst injuries there. Been hurt plenty of times, but injury wise, those are the two that kind of did me in. So yeah.
Wow. Well, as we're finishing up in the last few minutes here with the frat daddy, Bryce Cannon, we got to talk a little bit about bullpen professional wrestling. December 6th, down in Ranburne, Alabama. Hop, skip, and a jump from where I sit right now. A good hop, skip, and jump, but it's still one. You are facing their television champion and somebody who is starting to kind of light up the world of Georgia as well in JT Paradox. You talk about facing those bigger, stronger competitors. Um, I think you guys have met in a locker room maybe, but you've never been toe to toe across the ring. What do you know about JT Paradox, and what are you looking forward to in this match?
Yeah, I mean, JT, I've seen him at Southern Fried Championship Wrestling, and I've seen him not in the locker rooms, but I mean, I've seen his his flyer and his picture popping up elsewhere, other promotions and things like that. Um, but yeah, we've never locked horns. I've heard some stories of guys who've locked horns with him, and they tell me like he brings the fight. Those German suplexes are nothing to be shy of. There's something to watch out for. So I've done a little research. I watched his last match at Bullpen. Impressive for the stint that he has in pro wrestling, but is he really ready? Is the question. Um, he can be used to wrestling the same guys and things like that, but I just don't want him to get too starstruck when he's in the ring with an actual, you know, television superstar, somebody who can actually take that belt off of him and have some prestige to it versus a guy that I have to pull the YouTube app up on my TV to see his work.
Mm.
So JT, he can be a good kid, but he needs some humbling, from what I've heard too. So December 6th, be sure to go ahead and buy your tickets now if you're able to, because JT is going to learn a little lesson from the frat daddy, and one of the best in Georgia. He'll actually get the Bryce Cannon rub that everybody else is looking for.
The tied for first in the Georgia wrestling history rankings, tied with Carly Bravo of all people, Bryce Cannon.
That's
But
right. I mean, I've worked hard. I've worked my tail off, and it's time to. I'm not here to put the young kids over just yet. It's time to teach them a lesson.
absolutely. And with just about a minute or so to go, what is your last message to the fans? Either why they should check out this match or why they should look more into the frat daddy.
Well, I mean, if you know what's best and you're a fan of professional wrestling, I mean, why wouldn't you look up the Frat Daddy? I've had the opportunity to do extra work for WWE. I've wrestled with AEW. I've had the pleasure of working with TNA, MLW, NWA. I've seen it all, done it all, met them all, and quite honestly, I've beat them all. So December 6th, JT Paradox, the last time you'll ever see him make an entrance with a television title, the frat daddy Bryce Cannon step in the ring for the very first time. And if there's one thing that I can, ask of the fans is to please shower, brush their teeth, put deodorant on before you show up to that show. Please and thank you.
And the Impact seconds that, please. That's not a question. That's a statement. But Bryce, it has been spectacular having you on. We wish you all the best going forward. You can always come back here at any time. We will tell you where the key under the mat is. And we will see you later on down the road. And thanks to all you guys for joining us on a special edition of Strong Style. I'm Jeremy the Impact York for Bryce Cannon. We will see you guys down the road. Deuces, gooses. Go watch wrestling.